Welcome to Travel Market Life, your companion for industry insights and professional business development. Travel Market Life. Join us by webcast, video or podcast.
Hello and welcome to Travel Market Life. I'm your host Ryan Haynes, and today we're going to be talking to three of the hosts of the Global Revenue Forum, which is an event happening on the 31st of January 2023, so not long to go at all. 3 events, one community where commercial leaders, digital marketing and revenue management specialists come together. We're going to be finding out what's going to be happening at these events and what you can learn.
Travel Market Life.
Joining us first on the line is Ali Northfield, who is from Revenue by Design for the event that's in London. Thanks ever so much for joining us, Ali. Now, you're hosting these 3 events with keynotes streamed online as part of the Global Revenue Forum. Can you tell us what sort of content we can expect?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ryan. Lovely to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about the conferences. So I think typically, if you're looking at the conference as a revenue specialist, you're going to be walking away with future ideas for the upcoming year and really getting in touch with sort of cutting edge technologies. So in London, we have revenue management across the customer journey. So really looking at how revenue management can be applied at every stage of that customer journey. In Milan, they're going to be pitching with leading revenue management strategies for the next upcoming year. And Stockholm is really positioning their content as revenue management for revenue management visionaries, if you like. So really, really looking forward and looking ahead. That's the real thing for this event this year.
I mean, so much has been happening over the last couple of years, and with the pent-up demand, the booking returns, we've seen big changes in commercial and shopping behaviours, haven't we? Now, can you tell us about your London event, Catalyst for Conversion? We're not just looking at rooms bookings anymore. It sounds like it's much more to it. What can we expect to learn from that and some of the highlights?
Yeah, what I really want people to have when they look at the takeaways from this conference is really for revenue management really stepping up to looking at the revenue, the pockets of revenue opportunity right the way across the customer journey, from that initial touch point right the way through to delivery of the product, and that customer then leaving the property. So that really is having the role step up to a more commercial viewpoint, if you like, a much bigger headspace in terms of how to really, from a customer perspective, look at ways in which we can convert more revenue at each stage.
Now, you've got Natalie Nahai, a web psychologist who's delivering a keynote. What particularly drew you to her profile?
Yeah, fascinating person working with some really in a really nice area. So I think from we can see that the way customers are making decisions, or the way guests are making decisions, is changing. And so people really want to invest their money into areas that align with their values, that reflect what's important to them in their world. And Natalie really has done a deep dive into how guest behavioural expectations and behaviours are changing. So she has really done a deeper dive than just things like pricing psychology. So she's really trying to understand guest behaviours, and that's what really drew me to her.
Wonderful. Now, Ali actually had a conversation with Natalie just recently, and here was one thing that she had to say. You might want to check out the rest of the podcast.
Depending on how you want to display the rooms, typically speaking, people go for middle choices. And this is very simple. You see it online and offline. So if you're displaying people with 3 key rooms and you want, to sell the middle option, then make sure that you're aware of that particular bias, that people will go for what's displayed in the center. That's one. And then the other one is also just the price anchoring, which is if you've got a special room at a special rate, and you know that that's the thing where you've got the greatest margin, put that first.
Now, heading over to Stockholm, we've got Anne-Marie from Revenue Forum. Thanks ever so much for joining us, Anne-Marie. Now, you're going to be looking at pricing, future of travel and sustainable business strategy. Please tell us about your keynote.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. It's really a joy to be here. So in Stockholm, what we are focusing on is not only just like a specific topic, but we want the hoteliers to be ready for the next year. So we have topics about sustainability, about leadership role, about the effect of the financial crisis and inflation on the hotel industry, but also the weight of just like choosing the right concept and having that just like being just like transformed through all the hotel total profits, distribution issues, anything that we think is very interesting for the hoteliers today, and they need to know to prepare for the next year.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be an absolutely packed program there in Stockholm. And your keynote, who can we look forward to?
The name is Oliver Alander, and I chose him. He's a prize-winning keynote speaker. He's written a lot of books about the topic of leadership. He's also just like has a very popular podcast here in Sweden. So he's a known name, but especially he's an energy kick. So he's really just like the right person to end the day with. You'll just feel energized and just like ready for 2023, I think.
That's wonderful. I mean, I guess if you're in person or at home, you'll be able to completely benefit from all the insights you're going to get, as well as really re-energizing your entire team. Now, Hotel Revenue Forum is hosting the Milan in-person event. Now, Damiano, thank you ever so much for joining us. You're going to be joined by Kai Marcus Muella. What insights will we glean from him?
Oh, no, first of all, thank you very much for being part of this fantastic group. Really, I think it's a unique event, let's say pan-European events, and I'm really looking forward to it. So we were really looking for someone who could actually inspire our audience about pricing. And Kai, Professor Müller, he is a consumer neuroscientist. And I think no one better than him can actually understand how pricing can affect your choice. So he is going to really deep dive into what is really influencing our way of looking at pricing, and how can we influence as well people, about how do we price our products, especially in regards to value. So I think, when we're talking about the choice architecture and how can we really see the price in the different ways, I think Kai will be the best person to explain to us. And he just published a book right now, so it's an Invisible Game. So I'm pretty sure that it will be a very, very exciting session from Kai.
Absolutely. I know that you've recently, along with Emanuele, also recorded a podcast from him. And this is some of the words that we can hear from his advice, particularly in making sure the price is right.
If the price is too cheap, that people get a large kick from only the low price. And if they get a large kick, they get used to it. And if you get used to that, you get addicted to it. And that you really want to avoid, because otherwise you train people to only look at the price and to get their kick from getting a low price. Those are not the people that want to come again. Those are not the people that buy the martini on the bar, not the people that buy for various weeks when it's expensive, but those are the wrong customers. So you want to go.
I mean, we are looking at the fact that we are entering potentially a very difficult commercial period above and beyond the pandemic, but with price inflations and the potential recessions in our countries across Europe, that we're really going to have to make sure that we're getting the prices right. One of the particular things that I really liked, and I hope that this sends a big message to the audience here, is really for commercial leaders, revenue managers, is Kai's perspective on their particular role.
You are the choice architect. You design the choice, and the choice lies as much within you as it does within the end buyer.
Absolutely wonderful. Hey, Damiano. So if they want to check that out, they can head to your channel and hear more from Kai. Now, can you tell us a bit more about who the live in-person events are for? Who would really benefit from that?
Shall I start from Milan? I mean, very quick, so I was the last one. So we are expecting to have really the best, representative of revenue management and commercial leaders in Italy, so locally. that's the in-person events. And of course, there will be a great opportunity to networking, as you know. So we are running the Hotel Revenue Forum for the last years, and it's always been a great opportunity to see each other and really networking again. Okay, we're starting, traveling again, but I think this is the best opportunity to start the year, until the 31st of January. So that's great. And online, I think this is a great opportunity for everyone just to follow the 3 events, because don't forget the 3 events will be streamed, and there are the 3 keynote speakers, simultaneously streamed from London, Stockholm, and Milan.
Wonderful. Thank you ever so much for joining us today, Damiano. And over at Anne-Marie, we know that we've got Fernando Fiviez, who's going to be in Italy. What sort of hoteliers or hospitality leaders will be hear from in Stockholm?
So I've asked the CEO of Scandinavian Resorts to join us. STF, that is the organization for the youth hostels, for instance, a hostel organization, but also Visit Sweden. We have Sabis, which has like very high quality hotels, but also the likes of Expedia, Amadeus, Fair Travel, Visita, which is like the representation organization here in Sweden. So we have a broad blend of speakers together, also, of course, with our organization.
Excellent. And I know that our platinum sponsor is going to be Oki. They're going to be releasing some fantastic data as to what's happening in the marketplace at the moment. And I believe you're going to have one of them speaking there at your event.
Yes, they are going to be speaking. They have published a white paper, which is very interesting. We've asked them to do some research, and they came to fantastic results. They're going to talk about that on our event, but also mostly, of course, about upselling and how to make to gain extra revenue just by doing the right things.
Wonderful. Anne-Marie, thank you very much again for joining us. And finally, over back to London, Ali. What hoteliers can we expect to be hearing from, or some hospitality leaders?
Yeah, certainly. We've got representation from the main brands, independents, and also some regional brands. So you can expect to see revenue directors from Accor, Red Carnation, Clarent, Firmdale, RBH Management. So really across the board in terms of both branded properties, independents, and also different accommodation types. So we've also got representation from Unite Students, which is student accommodation as well. So yeah, it's a really nice broad spectrum, and some fabulous sponsors as well. Obviously, Ideas you've mentioned, and Oki, and we've also got Net Affinity, Atomize, Pace, and Sendine and SHR, to name a few. So yeah, so it's going to be a really good session in London. Definitely worth attending.
Excellent. Yes, because I know you've got Klaus Kollmeier, the chief evangelist at Ideas, and he is your Platinum Plus sponsor. So yes, that's going to be a wonderful turnout there. So thanks ever so much for that. And, really looking forward to that event. And guys, again, thanks for joining us on Travel Market Live today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to you.
So you can check that out on globalrevenueforum.com, where you can sign up either for the virtual event or lead through to the in-person events in London, Milan, or Stockholm. And Ali there did mention a few names that have featured on our podcast. So why not check out Hotelier's Voice Season 2 and hear from the likes of Red Carnation and RBH Management about some of the strategies that they've implemented over the last year. And then you can have conversations with them at the event. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ryan Haynes. This is Travel Market Life.
For more, go to Travel Market Life. The music sensation by Zach Nelson is reproduced under license from Storyblocks. Travel Market Life is a Haynes Marcoms digital marketing agency production, serving the travel and technology industries.